This is Cosmo Royale, telling you to get ready for Gazbot and the Big Dog Defender. Action activate!
Hello and what's going on? It is me, Gazbot. I am here for Action Activate, and with me, as always,
it is I, the Big Dog Defender, also here. But because we are doing a live show today, I am not the only one. In the comment section, hello to Brian Ennis, hello to Adam Catcher, hello to Neon Lights, and hello to Lewis Wilson. Thank you guys for joining. And but Gazbot, this is not just a regular live show.
No, it is not. We have an interview with legendary Power Rangers voice actor and just actor in general, Jason Hood, who is in New Zealand, who is in the green room backstage right now. We could see him, but we're giving him a minute to get settled in before we bring him into the show. So he is here, but we're going to bring him on in a minute. So if you have any questions for him, feel free to throw them in the chat. When he gets here, we'll try to work him in if they're appropriate.
Yes. And we're doing all right, Brian Ennis. I'm taking a look at the comments right here. It'll be Gazbot and I kind of taking a look each. Yes. But doing good. Yeah, as Gazbot said, if you have the questions, put them in the comment section, and we will get to them time pending. And if they're appropriate, I think there's no worries in sharing them this time.
Yeah. Like, so, for example, we could also post up like, boom, Big Dog, Adam Catcher is very excited to see you today.
Hey, happy to see y'all too.
All right. So, yeah, we are going to be talking to Jason Hood, who, if you don't know, I mean, he's done a bunch of stuff, but the main Power Ranger thing you would know him as is Vrak from Megaforce and Super Megaforce. And actually, it's fortuitous it worked out because shout out to Ryan from the Morphin Network. He hooked this up. So all credit there. And they do tons of great interviews and content. So check them out. But previous to that, we have had some requests to try to get Jason on the show. And my answer, when everyone says, hey, try to get so-and-so on the show, it's like, hey, well, sure. Anybody that wants to, we're happy to interview anybody, but that doesn't mean we know how to get in touch with them or that they're going to have the time to do it. So I was happy that this is one that worked out, that people requested, and then boom, it happened. Let's see. If you had to be any cartoon character with superpowers, what cartoon character would you be? Personally, I would be Ben 10. That's a good pick.
I don't see right now. There's so many easy ways to cheat with so many.
The way I would cheat would be, from the Justice League, I'd be the Flash because then I'd have the Flash powers. But is that really? I mean, it's a cartoon character.
So that's kind of funny. So you would be Flash, and I would probably choose Green Lantern. How fortuitous!
There you go. I think Jason might be ready. Jason, if you're ready, give me a thumbs up. If not, we'll keep chatting. Oh, he just disappeared. He is not ready. I hope his connection didn't go out.
Yeah, speaking of cartoon characters, especially with superpowers, for those of you that are fine adults, check out Invincible if you have Amazon Prime. We were actually just talking about that in the pre-show.
If you're ready, give me a thumbs up, Jason. He is ready. Okay, we're going to bring in Jason now. Here we go. This is what y'all came for.
Perfect.
Boom, Jason Hood, the man himself. How are you, sir? Oh, wait, you're muted. Let me help you out there. Oh, I can't unmute your mic. I think your mic is permanently muted. What is happening? Oh no. I can't unmute it from my end.
There it goes. Perfect.
Oh, phew.
Good to go.
All right. Perfect. Let me give you a little bit of a one shot here, buddy. And most people, we just talked about how you played Vrak on Power Rangers, but just in case anybody doesn't really know who you are, you want to give a quick, hey, here's who I am.
Okay, here's who I am. I've been a professional actor since 1999 when I graduated from Toi Whakaari New Zealand Drama School. Went straight out from that and worked on the Lord of the Rings trilogy for for all three films. So that was
awesome.
That was brilliant coming into the industry. My main role, and that was Vigo's acting body double.
Vigo, who played Aragorn.
Yeah. So I mean, we had 4 film units running at any one time, and if Vigo didn't have any dialogue, he'd step out. I'd have a conversation with him. I'd step in and sort of take his place for that particular scene. So
there's a lot of shots in the movie where we see you are Aragorn. Basically, it's not like you were just holding a spot for the light. You were walking, or you're doing a stunt or something.
Correct.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah,
that's pretty.
You'll never know it's me.
Right. But you also played other characters in. Didn't you do one of the guards in a scene? And
yeah, so I was Theoden's Royal Guard. So that was a scene with Aragorn, which was quite funny, sort of playing against him.
Nice.
I had Denethor's courtiers. Basically, if I wasn't required to do my main job,
right,
every now and then they'd ask me, "Oh, you want to do I've got a couple of lines in this scene, or you want to do that little bit there?" And also, I did some of the hero Yurkai work with the prosthetics.
Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah, that must have been. Well, I was gonna say it must have been fun, but I could also imagine it's grueling.
It's fun, grueling, and extremely uncomfortable, especially when you're shooting in the middle of summer, when you're 30-degree heat, and you've got this sort of suit on that's yay thick.
What is it made out of? I mean, I know it can't be rubber. Do you know what it is?
It's I mean, it's a sort of a foam rubber, I guess. Like, it's molded, and it could break quite easily. Like, if you got chunks would come out of it if you were doing like a stunt fight, and you got hit in the wrong place. But they just always had like the little art department would be there with their little spray guns to spray cover it up. So
just look like scars at that point, right?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah,
look more realistic. Let me see the chat here real quick.
So so that was brilliant to
so you say that was your first thing, but you had done a bunch of theater and plays, and this was just your first on-screen roles?
That was probably that was my first on-screen roles. I guess prior to doing my 3-year degree, I grew up doing sort of the theatre at schools, the plays, got involved with the amateur dramatic sort of groups, around the city, and did a lot of musicals. I was
looking at your. I was looking at your. You have your resume or CV or whatever you want to call it online that is actually more comprehensive than your IMDb. And it has your skills section, and you've got about 1 million skills, including singing and things like that you'd expect. And I have to ask, how much of this is accurate, and how much of this is that actor thing of like, can you ride a horse? Yes, I could ride a horse, and then you learn to ride a horse because you've got so much on here.
A lot of actors just tick all the boxes. Most of the stuff on there I have done and am confident with. Obviously, some things. I mean, I grew up horse riding, so that's on farms, so that's just a natural for me, like riding a bike,
right? But you also have pull it up now, you have stilt walking. That's not a normal thing you do on a farm.
no, I did stilt walking through drama school.
Nice.
So during that 3 years, they really trained us up on just being diverse and being able to just jump into anything. So we used to do the stilt walking, and we did the big sort of Christmas Day things and other event things. So we'd be stilt walking and doing all of that, mime. Obviously I was very sport orientated growing up, so I've got all of that as well.
It's funny because as an actor, I guess it's a lot of skills to pull from for whatever role. But I'm an artist, a visual artist by trade, and I do a lot of party events. And I'll see people who like their whole job is still walking, or their whole job is juggling, or because they just do events. But you're like, well, that's one of the little things I do on top of everything else.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to say I'm probably going to be the most amazing stilt walker in the world, but I can do it. So it's something I feel confident to be able to do to a degree. And I guess sometimes if you get a role that, not that I've ever had a role that's required me to be a stilt walker, but I guess if I get a role, yes, I can do it, and I would probably just jump on. If it was stilt walking, I'd just get some stilts and I'd jump on them and I'd just start playing with it before I even got on set.
Right. To refresh your memory, kind of.
Yeah, because it's sort of a body memory thing, really.
Right.
I mean, there's a few things that I probably haven't done for a long time that probably could be written off that list. But I probably haven't looked at it for a little while.
I want to talk about a bunch of stuff. Well, we want to talk about Power Rangers, but I'm interested in all this other stuff too. But we do have some questions coming up in the chat if you don't mind taking a few.
Yeah, no worries.
Okay. Big Dog, you want to pick one or you want me to?
You pick first. There were a couple I'm not the fastest reader, so I was trying to vet through.
Well, here's a question that I'm going to parse a little bit different. Adam Catcher says, when you're recording Megaforce, did the production team try to justify to you Vrak's ever-changing appearance depending on which faction he was working with to you, and if so, how? And I'm going to add to that. I think what they're really asking is, did you approach the voice different when Vrak had different looks, and if so, was that you or was that them? Or
no, they never really sort of approached me with any changes to the character or his voice. I mean, sometimes I'd be, oh, okay, I'm looking different now.
So they didn't tell you ahead of time?
Oh no. Sometimes I just get into the studio and we'd look at the footage and I go, oh, right. So we've changed something again, okay? And then I sit down with the voice director and we kind of go over sort of what's been happening prior to, and
right.
And then we just make some subtle changes in the room there. Nothing ever too big, because in essence, Vrak, was Vrak. I mean, there's just sort of, I guess, just you could put little sort of subtleties on top just to sort of give it a little bit.
Well, there was a time in the middle there when he became the robot or cyborg or whatever you want to call it, where he kind of lost his own personality. And so I imagine you must have known that and given it less humanity, for lack of a better term.
Yes, yeah. So try and make it more without being monotone, because obviously then it becomes boring.
Right.
But lacking any sort of, I guess, not so. What do you call it? Emotional.
And now, was that mostly you, or did the producers and directors tell you to do that?
No, that was purely just through me and the. I worked really closely with Jim McClarty, who was the voice director at that stage. Is brilliant, and we just used to work on it together. I mean, every now and again, Network and that would send you sort of, I guess, some comments or some sort of things that they would like you to consider.
Right.
And then you would try and do it if you could, and sometimes it would be like, I'm not sure if that works. Let's just try this and see if they come back to us and say, no, that's not what we said. So you sort of try and, I guess, we try to sort of appease if anything that was sort of asked of me as the character. But if it didn't kind of gel, then we would just sort of work something and put it in there and see if it was going to pass. Which it did most of the time. So
I think it I mean, like some people, I think where is it? Somebody was saying, here it is. Lewis Wilson was saying Vrak was the best thing about Power Rangers Megaforce. I do agree. Vrak was he was a good villain. Not all villains are interesting. Some are just like, hey, I'm evil and here we go. And you actually had a little bit more to work with, and B, brought a little more to it. So it did make him a good part of that seasons for sure.
Thank you. Yeah.
I was saying before, I was talking to Big Dog before. I don't know if you're familiar with the old Transformers, not the Bay movies, but the 80s one. There's a little bit, it reminds me of the character Starscream. More cool, more competent, but that's sort of like second in command that wants to take over. Like, I definitely got that in a good way kind of vibe.
Yeah, well, because I guess, Vrak started out as second in command.
Right.
When I first first introduced. And then he sort of took over from, was it Malor? Lord Malor?
It was brother Vekar was above him, but not really. But then, what was Campbell's character? Oh my gosh, I'm blanking. The Moth.
I'm totally forgetting. I'm
General
sorry.
Admiral Malcor. Admiral Malcor. There you go.
So he was sort of my upper, and then he had to go. Because it's that whole sort of I want the presidency, I want the power thing.
Right.
I want to be the. I'm not answering to anybody else.
Right. But it was a cool arc though, because he started off at least seeming kind of calm and cool, collected, and then by the end of the show, he's just like like you saw him kind of lose it. So that was a good job with that.
Cheers.
Let me see. You want to pick a question, Big Dog?
Yeah, I know one thing you had mentioned, and this question's from Brian Weaver. You had mentioned in your previous interview that you're often cast as one of the bad guys usually. If you got to be a Power Ranger, which Power Ranger do you think you would be?
Oh wait, that's the wrong one.
Oh, I don't know if I'd want to be a Power Ranger. They're all nice.
You don't want to flip the script just one time?
No. I have much more fun playing the bad guy.
Well, there you go. Well, how about I'll help you with it. There are some evil Power Rangers, so we'll have you
true.
We'll have you be one of the evil ones going forward. Then, if they have that, now they know who to call.
Yep. If there's an evil Power Ranger or one that goes bad or dark,
there you go. Okay, we'll say it could be Void Knight even from the current season.
True.
Yeah. Well, I couldn't find that question to throw up. Sorry about that.
Oh no, all good.
Well, here's another question, which I think I know the answer to, but I'll throw it up anyway. Byron Weaver wants to know, have you seen any of the recent seasons of Power Rangers?
Sorry. I'm just turning the aircon on. Yeah, I can't lie. I have to be honest, no.
Yeah, no, you're allowed to say no. I kind of figured you'd say that because, if you're not a fan and you don't have kids, why would you?
Well, yeah, it's. I guess it's that thing, when you're not on the program, it's not something that I would sit down and watch. Whereas if I'm actually actively in there with a character, then obviously I'm watching it to see what the storylines are and other characters, because you don't always get the full. Like, they don't give us the full script, so we don't see the whole storyline for an episode.
You've watched all of Megaforce and Super Megaforce then, or no?
Yeah, pretty much. But again, a long time ago, so don't quote me on trying to remember anything.
Lewis has just thrown out his favorite line from Vrak was far too complex for you to understand. Said he really liked when you read that one. That's it. Just a compliment.
Oh.
Wait.
Are you there?
Yeah, we're here. Jason, can you hear us?
I think I've lost you again. Hang on.
Uh-oh.
I know what's happened.
We have not lost you. Don't do anything crazy. We could still hear you. Uh-oh.
I think the connection's going a little.
All right. Yeah, it's getting a little wobbly. All right. I'll put him backstage, and we'll continue. Yeah, you guys are doing great in the chat. There's just
thank you so much.
Keep up with. Brian Ennis is officially unofficial Master Force Silver. Vrak was the best. Okay, yeah. No anime.
I saw one about the Nylock forms, but I feel bad. This is my kryptonite is some of the Neo Saban seasons that I haven't finished yet.
Well, also, wait, I think we got Jason back. Let me see. Hello, sir.
Hang on.
There we go. Can you hear us?
We're hanging on. Let me put him back. He's not ready yet. When he's ready, he'll give us the thumbs up.
Close.
Byron, you're talking about when he said, Byron said, how come we never saw Vrak's Fitch form, which was his Nylock form? Byron's not going to know that. I don't even remember, to be honest. Are you good? You good? Can you hear us?
Hello,
Jason?
hello.
Can you hear us or see us?
We hear and see you. Oh, all right, we'll put him backstage.
Yeah, with that, I think it was something, if I had to guess, it was from the Samurai / Megaforce Sentai movie.
I was going to say, because Nylocks were from Samurai, but I don't remember them having a crossover. Jason, if you're good, give us a thumbs up.
Yeah, I think it's a thing that was probably used in one of the movies and maybe carried over into episodes, but for American shows. We didn't really get that.
Can you hear us, Jason? No, he's still not. No, okay.
I'm gonna be a messenger extraordinaire.
Yeah, you do that. Oh, wait. Okay, wait. Maybe he's going. Good, sir.
Bad. Can you hear us or see us?
No. Can we? Oh, let's lip read him. He said maybe something. Maybe he'll call back. That was my lip reading. That was my bad lip reading. All right. Well, let's. You go ahead and message him on Facebook, and I will check chat. Nilak Forum, Malcor. Oh yeah, people shouting out Malcor. Malcor was defeated against the samurai theme. Interesting. I did not know that. I'd love to see Vrak come back too. And because of his different forms, they could easily write away that he would come back. It would not.
Well, he literally came back for that episode of Megaforce, and they used all the. Or Super Megaforce rather, and they used all that Ghost Sager footage, and it was called Vrak's back.
Yeah. No, but I think they mean now, like.
Oh, I know. I just wanted to. I have two things to contribute from those seasons, and that was one.
Oh wait, I think we might. Is he coming back? You good? Can you hear us?
Oh, I like that Ultraman Orb RPM logo for Patty Murphy.
Oh, that is cool. Jason, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Yeah.
I think
the car and the phone decided it didn't know whether it wanted to talk through the car or through me.
Oh, gotcha. That happens to me all the time.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well,
phones are not that smart.
Thanks for persevering through the difficulties.
Yes.
It's completely my fault. I apologize, guys.
All good.
Okay, so we're going to the movie. Let's catch up. That was the question we already answered.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, so let's take a break from Power Rangers for a second. We'll go back to that. So you guys feel free to keep throwing more questions. Big Doug, do you have a non-Power Rangers related question you can throw out?
Yeah. Obviously, you've been a part of a lot of different franchises. One that I really enjoy is the Underworld series. How is it being a death dealer on set there? Just because all those characters are so like ominous. How was that experience?
Look, it was a really great experience. A great movie to be a part of. Obviously, I was very privileged to do a scene with Bill Nye, which was brilliant. There was meant to be a few other scenes on location with some of the other sort of main characters. Unfortunately, I think they ran out of time, and the movie was. When I say ran out of time, the movie ended up being a lot longer than what they anticipated. So it kind of started to whittle down, and unfortunately those smaller characters kind of were the first things to sort of get knocked off the storyline.
Did you get to film it and it got cut, or you didn't even get to film it?
No, I've got the one scene. I got the scene in there with Bill Nye, so that's in the film, and then there are other sequences that I'm in.
Is it possible, like on a DVD extra kind of thing, you might show up more in some of those?
Possibly, but there were some scenes that just never got shot.
Gotcha.
Okay.
So they just, before they even got to them, they were cutting stuff because they were already running so far over what the movie needed to. So it didn't bother me, but I spent days. I think I had 28 days on it all up, and I think there was almost half of that was on night shoots out on location, and I didn't get used. I was every single night for the whole duration, and wrapped in the morning, and I'd go home and go to bed, and we'd do it all again the next night. I did a lot of reading in the caravan.
Well, there you go. You got paid to catch up on your reading at least.
Exactly, but it's always much better if you can get more sort of screen time.
Sure. That's why you're there.
Yeah, working with Bill Nye though, and being able to get at least that one scene that kind of came through onto through the final cut was brilliant, and he was very, very privileged to work.
That's awesome. He's awesome.
Yeah.
Another follow-up question to that in similar vein is obviously being the villain and in these different roles, you're often, dying, unfortunately, in a lot of your character scenes. Out of all those, what was your favorite death to either do the voice acting for or to shoot? Because I know that happened in Spartacus on screen, but in regards to just everything in general, what was your just most joyous one, if there's even a way of phrasing that to film?
It was probably the Casutius scene in Spartacus. That was probably my best death scene. I mean, I think I said on the last interview, I still argued with Rob Tappert going, but I could have survived that spear through the shoulder. And he's like, no, you burned to death. You literally burned alive. I can.
Just walk away from that a little sunburned, you know.
That's. I mean,
maybe you mix in Power Rangers and they rebuild you as like a cyborg Spartan guy or something.
That's what I was asking when they blew me up in Power Rangers. I said, but I could survive that really, and they could bring me back, kind of patch me up. No, you're vaporized. Okay.
You never know though. They've brought back other characters from seasons that were gone. They just put them in a new body because the way they adapt the footage, they just take a new character suit and say, "This is Vrak now." They could always do it if they really wanted to.
Yeah. He was there in spirit. He was just waiting. So yeah, I think that probably was the best death scene I've ever, or most enjoyable death scene I've ever done. Some of the others were just sort of like you kind of flop over and you kind of, and you're dead. That's it. It's like there's no. I mean, originally they were going to put the spear through my face. Yeah, but I think time restrictions and everything else, they decided it was easier just to put it through my sort of my shoulder area and let him burn to death. That's the end you see of him. But it would have been quite cool having a spear go straight through my face.
It's a great thumbnail for IMDb. Just the big old stake just right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me check. Let me see. We got some more chat stuff going on. There's a question for Big Dog, but we'll leave that for now because he's always here and you're not.
It's true. I am.
Well, okay. Related to what you were just saying. Well, okay, I got. That's a weird one. Okay, so Jaden Groves, would you be on another season of Power Rangers or play Vrak again if they asked?
Absolutely.
There you go. That's the answer we all want to hear. So that's great. This one's a little weird, so you could not answer it if you don't want to, but I thought it was kind of funny. Patty Murphy, how long can you scream?
I've never timed myself. I think I could probably scream for a considerable amount of time.
That's a fair measure.
I'm not now because I am in a public car park.
No, please don't.
I don't want the police coming down on me going, "What's going on in that vehicle?"
We've had enough difficulties. We don't need to bring the police into this interview. Well, let me. Come. There's another one. Okay, a bunch of stuff for Big Dog. But a lot of questions for Big Dog. Guys, I love that you want to talk to Big Dog, but he's here every week. Talk to Jason.
Yeah, I know.
I have a question for Jason. Oh, sorry, go ahead. You got one, Big Dog?
No, I go for it.
I don't know. This might not be an interesting answer, but I have to ask because I was looking at your resume and it mentions that you did some work on Ash versus the Evil Dead, which is one of my favorite shows because I love the Evil Dead franchise. What did you do on that? Can you tell us any story of how that happened, etc.?
So that was just doing loop group stuff.
Right.
Background. They need sort of mumbling or walla. We used to call it walla.
Right.
So you're not actually saying words as such, but you're like, the characters, the scenes around some other characters, and there might be a couple of guys, sort of shady guys, sitting in the background just behind them, and you'd be going, so we're having to make this conversation.
So even when you're doing
indistinct, you can't pick out that it's actual words, so it had to sound like conversation and dialect, but completely uninterpretable, which was quite a challenge.
I do like, though, that the way you phrased it, even when you're playing indistinguishable voices for background characters, they're still shady guys. They're still villains.
Yep. It was like they might have a group of us, and it's like there'll be some really sort of extrovert or sort of dodgy character, and Jason, this one's for you. Okay.
I know, unintentional typecasting. One question that I was actually wondering but didn't think of immediately. Adam Catcher asked, what accents are you most proficient in? And my side of it is, what's your favorite accent to do given the opportunity?
Good question.
I mean, standard American is pretty much what we all get over here. Like, you have to be proficient with standard American, just because of all the productions come through. I did one the other week, which had to have it was an audition for something, but it was a Southern accent, which was quite fun to do.
Nice.
So obviously didn't get the role. Maybe my Southern accent's not so. I thought. I mean, I don't have a specific favorite accent. I just like I like the challenge of a diversity of accents, whether that be American, English. I love doing a Russian accent when I get the opportunity. Eastern European, I seem to get auditioned or seen for a lot of Eastern European stuff. I don't know, maybe they're all dodgy. I don't know.
Oh, you don't. Oh, I thought you meant to be an Eastern European character. You're saying Eastern European productions are interested in.
No. Like Eastern European characters.
Oh, but
Gotcha.
the characters are dodgy, which fits what you said about.
They're all I seem to audition for dodgy. But if anything, I mean, I'm not one of those actors that can just sort of jump into an accent with you and start having a conversation and blah 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 blah. I need to see what I'm, look at the scenes, delve into the scenes, and then start to work with that specific accent for that specific character. Once I've actually got it down, then I start to talk with that accent the whole time. So whether I'm
character
offset, I'm talking, with crew, I'm going home and I'm talking with friends, then I've got it nailed. I stay with that accent throughout the whole duration.
Do your friends, does it annoy them, or are they impressed, or do they just kind of tolerate it?
Oh, I think they just tolerate it. It's just like, he's got another gig, How long we got to put up with this one for?
I know their questions probably, is it a movie or series, just so they kind of know in the back of their head how long.
Yeah. How many days you got on it? Okay, cool.
There you go. Like, oh, sorry, I'm busy next week. If it's longer than 8 days, we're just gonna have to, rain check. See you some other time.
Yeah. We'll see you in 2 weeks' time.
There was a question, Byron Weaver. Big Dog, did you see what question he's talking about? He had a question for you and Jason.
Yeah, it was why we never got a scene between Vrak and Prince Vekar. I think it was just footage. I'll answer for both of us. I think it was footage based.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'll go with that.
There you go.
Seems reasonable. One question that I really like from Neon Lights is, how has the last year affected the New Zealand film industry, and was it as shut down as Hollywood was?
So last year, a lot of productions got put on hiatus and have been put off, and some haven't started back up yet. Other ones have. It was a bit of a. I mean, I think I had one gig before the lockdown, and then during the lockdowns, and it was all up and down. And then you have a few small things like self-taping for small productions, but then no, it's not happening now. They're not going to look at it until later in the year. They're not going to look at it in 2021. So it was a bit of a rough year, I think, for a lot of us. This year, however, seems to be very very busy. We seem to be getting a lot of American productions coming to shoot here.
That makes sense.
I'm assuming that's just because of the restrictions.
Yeah, we live in California, and it's still pretty locked down here, so I could see why everyone would go over there if they could. Yeah.
So I mean, there's sort of new American productions coming here kind of regularly, which is great for us New Zealand actors,
Not complaining there.
Obviously, they're still bringing back, their main cause over here from the States, but it's great for us to get the opportunity to get roles on these productions that normally we would, because they would be filming back there. So
there's a question I don't actually understand, but maybe you will, from Adam Catcher. It says, Last one, I promise. It doesn't have to be the last one, Adam. Ever work with Viva La Dirt League? I don't know what that is. Is that a bad question to ask, or?
No, I just actually have no idea who. Is that a person?
I don't know. I thought it was a New Zealand thing. That's why I didn't know what it was.
Yeah, same. That's why.
Repeat the question.
Ever work with Viva La Dirt League?
Viva La Dirt League. I still have no idea.
Okay, Adam, if you want to elaborate and tell us what that is, we'll try again. But none of the three of us know what you're talking about. All right,
you stumped us.
Yeah, I assumed it was like a New Zealand acting troupe or something that I didn't know about.
It's one I obviously don't know about either.
Gotcha. All right. Actually, I have a question because we put up that picture of you from Spartacus, and you're clean shaven, and now you have a beard, and you go back and forth. And I'm wondering because friend of the show, Campbell Cooley, he often has a beard, and he has said that he prefers to be clean shaven, but he gets more auditions and work by having a beard. Do you have a similar thing where you find you do better with or without a beard, or it doesn't matter, or do you have a preference?
I guess it depends on the character that I'm potentially auditioning for. I mean, if he was a straight cut lawyer and clean shaven, suit, tie, etc., then I would shave. But I generally do. Well, I do like being clean shaven, but I'm lazy, so I don't like shaving. And I don't like electric razors. I prefer an old school safety razor.
Right.
And I guess if I keep growing it, I audition for something comes up and I need facial hair. I've got the facial hair. You can't sort of stick it on for something.
Yep.
You can take it off. So I generally do just kind of. I usually keep it reasonably trimmed. I'm a bit sort of feral at the moment, but I currently can't shave or cut my hair or do anything, so I've just got to kind of go with it.
Is that for something you're working on currently that you can't talk about, I'm guessing?
Yeah, that's the one.
Gotcha.
So yeah, normally I wouldn't look this scruffy. I do kind of groom to a certain extent.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
There's a clarification here from Adam.
Oh, yes.
Sort of says, there's been some crossover with them, meaning the Dirt League and Power Rangers. Actors on both sides, I mean. That's somewhat clarifying. What is Viva La Dirt League? Is that a TV show? Well, you gotta. I want to know now, but.
Yeah. I've never heard of that. So.
I mean, maybe this is something you should be auditioning for that you just.
Well, if it's shooting in New Zealand, I generally know about it.
Yeah, Adam, you got to treat us all like children. We have no idea what you're talking about. You somehow know more about the New Zealand acting industry than Jason.
please speak to us in layman's terms that we understand.
Jaden's asking if you could do the voice of Vrak, but I'm going to say no. I'm going to say A, you don't have to do it, but B, if you decide you want to do it, save it till the end.
Okay.
So stay till the end, and maybe he'll do it then, but we're not going to break up the flow right now.
Yep.
Big Dog, you got a question?
Yeah. I know you had mentioned for the underworld scene that a lot of times you were, focusing on a hobby for better or worse when you weren't filming. What are your hobbies? What are some things you like to do, obviously outside of acting, just so we get to know you a little bit more outside of the camera lens?
So I'm an avid swimmer. That's how I do my exercise is swimming. I'm not a runner. I've never enjoyed running. So
bad on the knees.
Yeah, bad on the knees. And I was a competitive swimmer growing up. So I swam competitively till pretty much till just before I went to drama school in 1997. And sort of held a lot of records within New Zealand, which my youngest brother then went through and smashed all of those. He was always a much more a bit better swimmer than I was, but he actually qualified for the Sydney Olympics, so he sort of was in another whole realm to me. Like, he swam for the New Zealand swim team, and flew overseas quite a bit with competition. I wasn't quite at that level, but so I've always kind of kept up with the swimming. That's just my fitness regime. I have a dog, so I do a lot of long walks with my dog.
What's your dog's name?
His name is Augustus.
Augustus.
Oh, nice.
There you
go. He's going to be 11 this year. He's a Weimaraner.
Is he a good boy?
Oh, absolutely. When he wants to be. I mean, he's 45 kg, so he's a big boy.
Ooh. Oh, wow. Yeah.
They're a German gun dog that was bred to hunt deer, and so not that he was ever a good hunter. I started training with him, and he was useless. So, but he's a good loyal friend. So
there you go. That's the main thing you need in a pet.
Exactly.
That's why I keep Big Dog around.
Yeah, I mean,
there you go.
Next best thing.
He's loyal,
I'm here for better or worse.
Yeah,
you give him a treat every now and again when he's
maybe just enough to keep him
not too frequently though, because then I expect it.
There you go.
Other hobbies for me, I guess, I don't really know. I mean, I kind of like doing woodworky things, and I'm kind of practical. So, if things need doing around my property, I'll rather do it myself than get a tradesman.
Gotcha.
Maybe that's just because I don't like what they charge per hour, and I'm like, well, anybody could do that, so I'll do it myself.
Not anybody.
I'll YouTube it and Google it, and I'll give it a crack. And then when it all turns to custard, then I'll call them up and say,
okay, there you go. Now I can relate. I couldn't relate at first, but yeah.
So yeah, home handyman, I guess you call it, a DIYer.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
I had a question. It's about Power Rangers, but it's also about the difference between IMDb and Ranger Wiki. You know what IMDb is, obviously, right?
I do, yes.
Yeah, and have you heard of Ranger Wiki?
I've heard of it. I haven't.
Okay,
really...
it's Wikipedia for Power Ranger stuff. Is really all it is.
Yeah.
And the reason I'm bringing up this, not that I expect you to be an expert, but there is a discrepancy that you were in a position to be able to clarify, because as far as I know, you did Vrak on Megaforce and you did Scumlaw on Dino Charge, right? The voice.
Correct.
And according to IMDb, you did a character on Beast Morphers called Antennatron, at least for one episode. But on Rangerpedia, it says you didn't, and that it was Julian Wilson. So
I'd say IMDb is incorrect, because IMDb also says that I was only involved in the first two Lord of the Rings movies, whereas actually I was actually in all three of them right to the end.
Gotcha.
And I mean, I've got proof of that because I've got photos of me and Liv Tyler at the coronation.
I believe you over all these, so thank you for clarifying.
Okay, well, there you go. So I'm sorry.
Yeah, don't believe everything you see on IMDb.
Well, I'm sorry that you didn't get to play a third character, but at least now we know which one is correct, because I know there are a lot of fans that are probably like, well, who is it? Yeah.
It's freaking me out. That's all wrong. But yeah. So I'd go with the Ranger Wiki as opposed to the IMDb for that one.
There you go. Which is surprising. You would think that the other one would be more, but I guess the fans are more meticulous than.
Yeah, I mean, I don't pay a subscription to IMDb. Hence, there's no profile picture on there for me. So I guess it's relying on whoever somewhere else putting that information into the system.
And you're right. There is no profile picture. It's just got that little gray head.
Yeah, unless I want to pay money, and then I can, put my profile picture in there. But
yeah. Shout out from Morphin Network saying, "Hey, Jason, hope you're doing well." And once
they
again,
have a question as well.
Oh yeah. Let's see. And we said it at the top for those just joining. They hooked us up and made this whole thing happen. So thanks to those guys.
Thank you.
And the question from the Morphin Network is, what would a family dinner look like between Vrak, Vecker, and your father, Emperor Marvo? What would a family dinner look like? Or be
What would
like?
it look like? It would be, I don't think anyone would agree on what to eat.
Oh, there you go. So it wouldn't even happen.
You just sit in starvation shouting for hours.
Yeah, it'd just be this massive argument, deciding on what, and then it just wouldn't happen. And then everyone would go off and sulk or, start sort of conspiring against the other one.
They would dine on vengeance.
Yeah, pretty much.
There you go.
That was a
one thing Adam Ketcher is giving us the Viva La Dirt League explanation. So it's a New Zealand-based comedy troupe, probably most known for their Playtech videos, and the VA for Redbot. The voice actor for Redbot has been in a few of their videos, and some of them have appeared in Power Rangers. So good to know.
Yeah, it's a comedy troupe.
That's good to know, but I'm still no wiser.
It basically seems like they're a comedy troupe, and some of them have been on Power Rangers. That's the answer there. So, thanks for the info there, Adam.
Yeah, thank you.
All right,
I've learned something today that's happening in my backyard.
We're at about 45 minutes. We're probably going to try to cap it an hour. We don't want to keep you too long. Big Dog, you want to pull out some of your best questions you got left there?
Yeah. So I know you had mentioned in your previous interview that you semi-recently had become more aware of merchandise of characters you've played. What's kind of your little collection that you've got of either Vrak figures or merchandise from Lord of the Rings or anything else like that?
Really, the Vrak ones are the only ones I've actually collected, and that was only because a friend's son was like an avid fan of Power Rangers. And I said I'd get him one and autograph it for him. So I ordered sort of a few of them, and since shipping, signed that and sent it off to him, and then I kind of just kept the other one. So, but I mean, I didn't even know that there was a Matchbox car, or Hot Wheels car. So that was interesting in the last sort of thing. But I haven't really looked out there to see what else is figurine wise has sort of come through. It was just sort of one of those one-off randoms.
I also just found out there was a Matchbox car. That surprised me too. I didn't even know they had Power Rangers Matchbox cars at all, let alone that Vrak got one.
No. I mean, Ryan and they sent me a link through for it. I think you get it from Walmart. So I haven't got around to it yet, but I'll probably order one just to say, hey, I've got it. There you go.
There you go. Yeah.
One reason I asked that is kind of a follow-up. Are you interested / have you kind of thought about, once everything mellows out a bit more, of doing any Power Ranger conventions stateside? Just because I know if you don't know what Vrak stuff's out there, you would definitely find out at a show.
Yeah,
it would just be going over that side of the table over and over.
Yeah, look, I mean, once things will kind of cooled down and like you say, mellowed out, and borders are open and things like that, then definitely I'd be very keen to come over that way and do one of the conventions. I'll probably learn a lot more about my character than I do.
I'll tell you, we've been to several, and we've tabled at them and whatever, and I do, we're pretty immersed in it. And it never fails. I will meet 100 people that know a million times more than I do. So there's no shame in not know. I've never met anyone that's like, yep, I know everything. It's impossible. It's just such a big thing. So yeah, I think people will be
for a long time.
Yeah, people will be excited to tell you what you don't know.
Oh, totally. And it's always good to know what you don't know.
There you go.
You're always learning.
Yeah.
Every day I learn something new, and I probably forget 2 or 3 things, but that's all good.
One thing I think we should touch on, I said it, but we didn't actually talk about it all, is the other character you played on Power Rangers, which I think it was just one episode, but was Scumlaw on Super Dino Charge, I think. You want to talk about that a little bit? Because it was a season or so after. So how did you get called back, and how did you approach that character differently? Just anything you want to say about that?
Yeah, I mean, when I went back in and they called me in to audition for that role, I sort of obviously, tried to work out where like he's obviously the law guy, but he's quite sort of, he's got no backbone, and he's quite opposite to what Vrak is.
Yeah.
No powers, no nothing. He's just sort of a bit of a weasel. So I just I think I just started to create this character voice that I felt was sort of had, like a bookworm sort of, law guy, lots of information, but sort of a bit of a Weasley kind of voice, and not a strong character at all. And I just went in there and did it, and they said, "Oh, that's great, thanks."
Did they ask you to come in, or did you audition and just got it?
I got asked to come in and audition, so they had obviously a small handful of people that I don't even know how many of us there were, and then obviously auditioned, and then they were pretty prompt at coming back to me saying, "Yep, that's great, Jason, you got it." So
nice.
It's funny. I didn't realize this, but when I was doing my research for the interview, it was talking about Scumlaw again on Rangerpedia, which is a great resource. It was saying that out of all the outlaws in Dino Charge, Scumlaw is the weakest monster because he had not many abilities, and he never became a giant monster like most others do at some point. So you kind of played one of the most powerful, like almost leader, taking over kind of guys, to being almost the weakest monster that there possibly is.
both extremes.
Yeah, that's great though. Showing your monster range is what you're doing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody in chat, you have a question? Throw it out now because we're getting towards the end. Big Dog, you got another one lined up?
Yeah, kind of springboarding off of the previous one about conventions, it would be awesome to see you in person. Is there anywhere in the States that you would like to visit that maybe you haven't, and just kind of based on either different voices or roles that you've had where you're like, oh, it'd be cool to go to New York or Louisiana or what have you?
New Jersey.
New Jersey, the Bronx. Look, I'd love to get to New York, and I'd love to check out all the boroughs there. LA, obviously, I've never been to LA, so that would be a definite must. Those are probably the two musts for me.
These are also the big capitals of the entertainment industry and acting too, which might have something to do with it. Yeah,
of course. You might as well, kind of do the ones that are going to be helpful. I spent about a month, 5 weeks in the early 2000s in Florida. So I checked out all of Florida, which was kind of cool. Did Disneyland, did Orlando, did NASA, drove right round down Tampa, did all the Keys and down to Key West, and one of my brothers was based in Fort Lauderdale at the time for his work. So I was actually based in the UK, or living there at the time. So it was like, I'll go over and see him and tick off a state of, the US of A.
There you go. It's kind of random, but did you try key lime pie? And if so, did you like it?
Yes, I did. And yes, I did like it. I do have some very strange tastes. I do remember though is it the stone claw crabs, which is quite a big thing down there, and I went to I think it was when I was in Key West, and it was like all you can eat stone claw crabs. So it's like just the big claws and everything. And I just kept ordering more and more. Yep, keep them coming. Do you think you got your money's worth? I'm like, no, I have some more things.
2 more and then maybe. Did you have the wooden hammers to crack them, or would they give you that? Yep.
Yeah, they had the wooden kind of hammer to smash it, and then these other things to pull out the meat, and it was going everywhere.
I'm sure your dog was happy when you came back. Like, it may have been a couple weeks, and he's like, nope, still fresh, still caught a whiff.
Yeah, he didn't wash that. He didn't wash that T-shirt.
All right. I really you've been very gracious with your time, but I don't keep you too much longer. I think I'm gonna, unless you have a burning question, I'm gonna ask the last question there, Big Dog.
Go for it.
Okay, this is the last question. It's a Power Rangers question. I ask this of every guest we have. And it might be difficult for you to answer because I know you don't know a lot of Power Rangers, but just do your best. The question is, who is the best Red Ranger and it could be based on the actor, it could be based on the character, the suit, the figure you saw a kid with, whatever criteria you want. Who do you think is the best Red Ranger of all time?
I can't answer that question.
You can't even take a guess? You don't have to give a name of a character. You could just say, like, you know, the first Red Ranger from Mighty Morphin, or what, you know, whatever. I'm trying to make it easy on you.
Yeah. It's probably the Red Ranger that was just after I died in the next series.
Troy was the Red Ranger on your 2 seasons.
Yep. And then when was the next Red Ranger?
Was that was Ninja Steel, right?
No, that was Dino Charge. So
Dino Charge. Oh, Brendan
Mejia.
Brendan Mejia.
Yeah, I think that's the one I'm thinking of. He is a very popular answer. He's a popular character, and we've interviewed him. He's a very nice guy. So you're not the first person to say that. And like I said, I like him personally. He's a good Red Ranger. Unfortunately, that's wrong. The correct answer is Casey from Jungle Fury. It's not your fault. Almost everybody gets this wrong. They don't realize that their opinion is incorrect and mine is correct. But, you tried. Your own opinion, yes, and you've got yours, so that's all right.
If it makes you feel better, Jason, he put his money where his mouth was and got a tattoo from that season on his arm. He uses that as his get out of jail free card. There it is.
Yep, there you go.
You got to stick with it now because
I can't ever change my mind. Or I get a big no smoking symbol.
Any new Rangers that come out, it's like nope, can't.
Nope.
Well, then you just change it to the 2 best, and then you have to.
There you go.
Yeah, top 2, top 3, what have you.
Yeah, you just keep adding them. Just keep adding them to your.
A whole line down my arm. Lewis agrees with Tyler from Dino Charge, or maybe he's just saying that's who you're trying to think of. Okay, so we're gonna wrap it up. I would like to ask a favor. I'll let you shout out your social media and stuff like that too. But if you don't mind, I would actually like to get a shout out that we could use for other times. If you want to do it in the Vrak voice, awesome. If you don't, totally fine. But really, I just want to, if you could just say Action Activate. You know, this is Jason Action Activate. Whatever you want to do with that, and we'll let the people watch it, and then maybe we could use it in the future if you don't mind. If you mind.
No, I'll give it a go. So I can say something and then Action Activate. Yeah.
Yeah. The name of the show is Action Activate. So as long as Action Activate is in it, you've done the right thing.
Okay. Cool.
Whenever you're ready, just go ahead.
Just give me 2 seconds.
You can have as many as you like.
I will kill those Power Rangers. I will kill those Power Rangers. Action Activate.
That was
woohoo! Thank you.
Fantastic.
That was great.
I don't know. I think Vrak might have warped a little bit since he retired.
No, that's just one of the new forms.
There you go. That's the new one.
Exactly. That'll be the next one coming up.
The next evolution.
Fantastic. Okay. Well, I appreciate you taking the time and fighting through the technical difficulties and everything else.
Which is all due to my inability to get
that's fine.
The time difference correct.
All good.
I looked at it this morning. I'm going, okay, so it's 11:10 here. Hang on, it's 11:10 a.m. there, and that's here, so that's 3 hours before. So it'll be at 3:30, so I can log on at 3:20, and then I got the text from you going, hey, we're all good to go. 2:28 p.m. Oh, I got it wrong.
Not to worry, man.
I had time to do my supermarket shop.
I've made the same mistakes. You know, it's hard. You know, like we're trying to live in this global world. Like right now, it's almost dark here, and you're like doing your afternoon shopping. So you know.
Well, I guess it's like yesterday. Are we all good for this afternoon? And of course, no, you're a day behind us. So. You're the 29th. We're the 3rd. You know, obviously yesterday for us was the 30th. So,
anyway, like I said, I completely empathize. I'm the same way with numbers. But as we wrap up, though, I do want to give you a chance. Are there any projects coming up that you want to talk about or promote, or a website you want to talk about? What can talk about? Yeah, I understand there would be things maybe you can't, but just anything you want to point people towards, a website or a storefront or a project that you just want to talk about, or.
No, not at this stage. I mean, last year for me was a quiet year. Like I said, I had one small role in a local production called Black Hands at the beginning of last year, but then nothing else really in front of the camera. This project that I can't talk about now is the next big thing for me, but it'll probably be some time before I can talk about it.
We would like it if you could do a little more Tolkien about it, but we understand if you can't.
I wish. Sorry, nothing really to.
That's cool. Well, let me ask you this: we get asked this when we have guests, especially with the lockdown now. But you being in New Zealand, if somebody wanted to get like an autographed photo or something like that from you, do you sell those or offer those in any way, shape, or form, or they're just out of luck until we end the lockdown?
Oh look, no, I'm happy to send stuff out.
So maybe through your Facebook message would be the best way to get a hold of you if they're interested.
Yeah.
Okay. There you go. Jason Hood on Facebook. If you want to get something, talk to him there. All right. I think that's it. Thank you to the chat for being here live. Thank you for those that are watching after the fact on YouTube. Thank you, Big Dog, but mainly thank you, Jason.
Thank you.
And, I guess I've been back.
Thanks, Gaz and Big Dog. It's been a pleasure talking with you both. And,
thank you.
Thank you for inviting me.
Of course. Thanks
again to Ryan
for being
Network
here.
for helping set the whole thing up.
Yep, absolutely.
All right. And to the power.
To the power. See you guys later.
Goddamn Power Rangers.
We put on the end credits here, which I'm always late with.